when we hit that level of people saying, well, in episode 15, you said this, but in episode 20, that to me is when we made it.
Totally.
Having produced a bunch of podcasts, the fact that we made it past 5 is huge because that's where most fall off.
Well, I still think we eventually need to revive your old podcast because there's no shortage of inspiration for that sort of a one. And we'll revive that one, I think.
Yeah, we'll make that a post fully healthy stroke, maybe 2026 podcast. Welcome to the 20th episode of the Big Damn Podcast, the monthly behind-the-scenes peek into our production distribution company, Big Damn Films. And because we have music that we can use, I'm going to use it.
Exciting episode, because this one we get to talk about the next Big Damn chapter.
I gotta be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Like, I've been worried after what the response to the ZCon announcement was. There hasn't been one. Except for a couple people, there's been a oh, hey, can I help out with the next thing? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll wait. But I feel like that proverbial weight is off my shoulder.
Good.
I slept a lot today knowing I was going to talk a lot on this. So I feel rested.
Good. You sound good.
I sound highly caffeinated.
I mean, you sound 95% of the way there. So
Yeah. What'll be interesting is in about an hour when the caffeine wears off. What happens?
Yeah, well, there's never any accounting for caffeine wearing off.
No. On board, we have a Monster and a what is this? A Cherry Coke. So
there you go. I have a Cherry Coke as well, actually. Cherry Coke Zero, though. But
yeah, same.
Hey,
same.
There you go.
All right. So that being said, the episode of this podcast is extremely fitting.
Yes.
And it is going to be entitled The Next Big Damn Chapter. Or The Next Big Damn Chapter Begins. And that means when this comes out on October 1st, all the people supported ZCon that pay attention will have now known that we have a new project. So we can talk freely.
We can talk, which is nice.
Secret we've had for the last 3 months.
Arbor Day.
I'm stupidly excited. I'm still cautiously optimistic. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
That being said, if you're listening and you're a ZCon supporter, all of this will lead into getting what we need to do to finish ZCon, include, the opportunity to work with the team on a smaller scale that will be the team for the big movie that is finishing ZCon.
And not just to work with the team, but to actually try out and learn who we work with and who we don't, or where we need different skill sets. The thing about this movie that I think is probably the most fun way to start is the anthology nature of the story means we're working with 6 different directors and 6 different writers, but the same people there. Sound and lighting and DPs and ADs and all sorts of different people and other, some of the writers who have those skill sets that may stick around and hang out and we may get to try and work with them in other ways. So we're building the production army, so to speak, and getting to kind of kick the tires and figure out how it works before we dive into the feature length that is ZCon.
Let's do some house cleaning with some project updates.
Yes.
The first being, for those
Fright
watching
Before
on the video,
Christmas.
The Fright Before Christmas 2 pre-orders are open. You can get Blu-ray and DVD. These are at a discounted price till November 20th, and then it'll go back up to full price. But we're really excited because this is the first new that we have had since we started. We released Fright 1 and Jester, but those were re-releases of John Johnson's stuff. This is, the first original piece. We've already got orders coming in, and Patreon.
Not first original, but first previously unreleased piece.
No, this is, it's not original to us, but it's an unreleased piece.
Yeah, an unreleased piece. Yeah. It's all original. It's all John's work, but It's an unreleased film that he's never put out before. So,
Well, and it's
Good.
actually the one that he's completed the closest.
That's true.
Next is Rifters.
Mm-hmm.
The feedback from Justin and John is that they're finalized the final tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Those should be getting put into the movie in the next 2 weeks or so. Hopefully by the time we actually get to filming Arbor Day, which
It would be nice to have Rifters done before then.
means we can have a big Q1 and Q2
Uh-huh.
with Q1 being for Rifters and
Yep.
Q2 being for Arbor Day, which will
Mm-hmm.
come out on Arbor Day.
Yep. Arbor Day 2026.
So then that goes into Arbor Day, so it's going to be called Arbor Day, The Root of Evil. It is, as Logan mentioned, a horror anthology made up of a brand new character never existing before that we're calling the Arborist,
Mm-hmm.
set in the
It's in
urban
the list.
lore. What's
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
It's set in the urban lore and kind of the cryptid world, and that's made up for the town that I live in, Mays Landing, New Jersey. Part of the reason that it is an anthology is that while I sound great now, I'm still recovering from my stroke, and I don't know that I have the capacity physically to do a full feature by myself. But as it's basically 2 48-hour film festival filmings per story, or one,
Mm-hmm.
one per story, and I had 2, the opening and closing. I can absolutely do that and then, sit in the background doing data ingestion for everybody else as we go along. And then each story is kind of interlocked with, the park closes every Arbor Day, and uh, the guy that's trying to keep the camper out is recanting stories that happened in Arbor Days past, hoping to prevent one from the Arbor Day present. But you have to wait and see. You said this before, not on a podcast, but
Mm-hmm.
it's exciting to be back in pre-production.
It is. It's very exciting to be back in pre-production. There's for anybody who hasn't, done a film or kind of been on a set or stuff there's a build up, a tension that starts to grow, kind of like the in some ways, the anticipation leading up to a first date. It grows for days and days, in this case, weeks and months kind of before. You start to put the crew together, you read through the scripts, you talk with the directors, and then the closer you get to being on set, you kind of like that energy amps up. And to have that anticipation again, like to remember what that felt like. I mean, God, the last time was more than a decade ago, at least for me. It feels good. Feels cool.
It's interesting. So you weren't there for pre-production for Browncoats.
Correct. I
Mhm.
found it online before then, but I knew for, as soon as you put out the open kind of extra casting call. So I knew for months that I was going up or down to Ocean City to do that. So there was that kind of, excitement / trepidation of what am I getting myself into, but it wasn't the full pre-production experience. No.
Then you were involved partially in the CCon pre-planning.
Well, all the proof of concept from start to finish. So that was huge there. Velma, which we also kind of did in between then.
Yeah, that I've been working on that this week, and I don't
Cool.
know how we make it anything other than a trailer.
Whatever, that's fine. I don't know. Missed some with actual ZCon, but that was because my first child was being born at that time.
One of the first Bronco babies.
Yep.
But you were also there for the 48-hour film festival that we did for Smodcast.
It's true. That's true. I was there for that too.
Now you're getting the full brunt of something you're actively involved in co-creating. That's exciting for me. It is fascinating, like looking back over a decade when we were doing pre-production for proof of concept, and like you don't realize how much you've grown until you start doing something you did a decade ago. The difference of who I am as a filmmaker then and now, like me, ZCon time would need like a year lead up of pre-planning and all of this, like getting everything together. And we've put this together in under 3 months.
Yep.
And we're
literally from inception of the creating an entirely new character that never existed before.
Right.
To being ready to shoot. later next month.
To having a full script, to having a full team, to knowing how we're going to do everything. Like the depth of knowledge it took to be able to do that so quickly with the clarity that's needed. And mind you, the clarity while dealing and recovering from a stroke. I couldn't have done this without you, nor would I have wanted to. But yeah, so that kind of goes greatly into segment 2, which is why we're doing this as a micro budget, micro model.
Yep.
Our total budget being $35,000 for this.
Yep.
Knowing social media the way I do for the past 20 years, like watching movies that, spend half of their budget on marketing and prints and advertising rather than doing what we do well, like with Brown Coats and ZCon, and which is like grow a core audience, grow an audience around something, it's the 1,000 fans rather
1,000 true fans. I was just about to say that. Yep.
Yeah. Rather than hoping everybody in the world goes and sees our movie.
Right. It's the experience. It's the knowledge of we don't need to target the world. We can micro target an audience that we're more likely to hit, and by looking at that audience and building that kind of smaller, more loyal fan base, like multiple of those are going to be a lot more sustainable for us and for any indie filmmaker than trying to swing it for out of the park every time.
Oh, 100%. And the other side of that is that, like, the stories I know people doing what we're doing, it's been about a decade since people have done those, by the time our movie comes out, it'll be a decade since Terrifier first got released. And that was an equal budget to what we're doing. So it's still proof and testament that, like, when you have a plan and you know what you're doing and you have competent, I don't degrade everybody, but when you have a core group of people who are competent in their skill sets, you can move really, really fast and really cheap. In addition to that, like, we're not looking at this as just one movie. If this does well, Paranormal Activity, Terrifier, Blair Witch Project all went on to do like hundreds of millions of dollars in franchises.
Yeah, I mean, franchise is the buzzword. That's kind of what everybody is looking for, I think, and or at least the bigger studios are, and quite frankly, I think audiences now are looking to, play in a world and kind of enjoy. You spend more time in what they enjoy. It doesn't just have to be, a Star Trek that's been around for 50 years and however many shows and movies and all sorts of stuff. But like, even some of your smaller book series or other things where they start to get turned into that world, and being able to, spend time in that is I think where people want to be.
Well, in addition to that, like, we've done all sides. We've done the derivative works piece with Fox, with Brown Coats. We've done original concept. Like this, I think you and I have talked about this before. I know we have individually, but maybe not on the podcast. This model of an anthology allows us to work with new directors. And, we said this to Joe Raffa, one of the directors, last night. If we find somebody that we just click with, we're like, what else do you have to make? And then we can immediately go into next year going, all right, we're going to make Joe's picture or Brooke's picture. Like, we know we're making a Brooke Malkin's picture after this. We know
at some point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, we know all the pieces are in place for that.
Well, that's the beauty of being both a production and a distribution company.
Right. We're not limited to, will somebody buy this?
Right.
Which is really pretty exciting.
Yeah. Hugely so.
So going into the next bit of this is our Patreon only section.
Yep.
So if you're not a Patreon member, you're about to hear a little jingle reminding you why you should be a Patreon member. But if you are a Patreon member, like Sam is, who's joining us live and watching in, You get to hear some updates that nobody else is going to get.
Hey, podcast listener, if you're hearing this, you're only getting part of the story. Our Patreon members get exclusive early access to live recordings, bonus content, and the full unedited version of this podcast. Join us at patreon.com/bigdamnfilms and be part of the Big Damn story. Now back to the show.
We're going to say goodbye to our Patreon supporters and hello to the people that got to hear that nice jingle to remind you that for just $3, you can become a Patreon supporter at Big Damn Films and listen to all the things that Samuel, who's watching live, got to hear.
Just got to hear and see.
Yeah. So that goes into the what's coming and where we're going next.
Yeah. So coming soon, like I said, we'll have the kind of Browncoats event recap. So we'll kind of give a recap of the screening and how all that went. Starting in probably October, we're going to have some behind-the-scenes shoot diaries for Arbor Day. Like we talked about, there's going to be all sorts of test fittings and director talks and technical breakdowns of scenes and effects and interviews and a whole plethora of things. We will be taking no shortage of additional filming while we're going, in addition to the main filming that we're doing. Because part of what we do is wanting to make sure that, everybody who's following along with us gets to see all the nitty gritty and the down and dirty of how it's made and done. And maybe it'll help, enlighten, inspire, encourage you to make your own whatever it is that you want to make. And
then let us distribute
maybe a film we can distribute.
So we have this piece called Creator Resource in the notes, and that's really just wanting to talk about like how to plan a staggered release. As a distribution company, we look at the film after it goes out. And what I see so many filmmakers do is they just plan for the movie. They don't plan what comes next. And if you're doing your math right, we're 7 months before even the release of the movie, and we know where it'll be a year from now. I know most people are going to film festivals and that and such. It's fucking expensive.
Very expensive, and not a lot of return for the expense either.
Right. But by us having a staggered release and knowing when everything's coming out, we're better poised and in control of guaranteeing return on investment than we would be if we were trying to wait for a distributor or trying to wait for the film festival season to add to our production debt and hope that it's enough buzz to get that back. Whereas now we can use conventions and festivals to further the marketing rather than, wait a year for releasing our movie. And as Patreon supporters, you get to share in that process.
Every step of the way.
Logan, what are your thoughts?
I'm excited. One of the things that I know excited, and maybe it's every filmmaker, I don't know, but when we talked with John the first time about Night of the Blue Moon and how excited he was about, working with his kid and having his children and family around, that's a different thing for me from now compared to Browncoats, is that the kids are going to be there, going to be on set, like my wife will be there, going to get to actually work on screen. My middle child is asking, can we practice my lines? Like, that's really cool. It just adds a whole nother depth to an experience that I already know that I love and can't wait to get back to. Just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah. Look, it's exciting for me for those reasons and more, like I know Liam's going to want to film behind the scenes stuff for us, which I will gladly let him do.
Totally.
And I know Mia is just going to be a personality on set. And just knowing that like none of those happen without Browncoats is just emotionally rewarding and hard to fathom at the same time.
Yeah.
And also knowing that like John Johnson and Mariah were extras on the same weekend you were.
Yeah.
And, decades plus later,
here we all are.
We're all working on a project together. I met Justin Timpane because of Browncoats. Like
Mhm.
he and Daniel Ross were promoting their Ninjas Verse movie at a convention next to, our promotion at one when we were doing that we did those 4 shows in 1 month.
Yep, that's right.
So, or four shows in 1 weekend. So like, again, no Justin on this project without Browncoats. Then you have Brooke, who was a PA in the costume department on Zcon at an extra.
Well
And
done.
Brooke has gone on to have a decade-long career doing features and shorts and music videos and costuming and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So to have Brooke, who now come back and run the show,
Mhm.
and then Haley. Fucking Haley was an extra preteen, I believe, on Zcon, and
Possible.
went on to go to Tom Servini's school and is now our head of effects.
Huh.
So needless to say, Samuel and other people listening, I don't get rid of people very easy. But I also trust those people very, very well. So much so that like Brooke has brought us Edwin and Luis and Joe Raffa,
Mhm.
all who I'm very excited by. And we have, John is bringing Carrie, who's doing a short. Tamara Johnson is staying with us from all the way in the Browncoats days. She did the audio mix for the proof of concept. And she brought, Johnny, who is our composer. So it's nice to watch all the different like tendrils of what came from one little project kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And lots more to come in the next episode and everything leading up until Arbor Day 2026. It's a holiday that won't be skipped this year.
No. And we might even go back to our nonprofit roots.
We might even.
We'll know next week.
We'll know next week. I'm excited about that call.
The podcast listeners will know in a month. We will know next week.
Yes.
Patreon supporters will know after it happened.
Awesome.
Well, that's it. It's time to wrap it up.
And that's it. It's another episode of the Big Damn Podcast. Huge shout out to DJ Zafer for creating our theme music, as always.
Before we wrap things up, let's give a huge big damn thank you to our Patreon supporters over on our Patreon. Shout out to Amy Hassa, Bill Farrow at the Big Damn Hoodie level, our biggest tier, plus those other 2 bastards who started this thing, to Heather Love. Oh, yep. Coffee mug for those people at the $25 level. And that mug is free, by the way. Well, I mean, it's not free. It's part of your
showed up. It was amazing. Magic.
Yeah, just showed up. Heather Love at the Big Damn Cup of Coffee tier. I want to thank you to Lauren Budd, Stephen Woods, Joe Heine, and Samuel, who's listening to this right now. John Heine, thank you. And
Samuel here in person.
Who's listening in person. You made it an hour in, man. I am mad respect. They're at the high five tier of just simply $3. Super easy. We're cheaper monthly than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And last, but never least, our free tier supporters, Scott Reed, Victoria McBride, Catherine Holner, and whoever Steelheart is.
I love it.
That's a great name.
That is.
You guys keep the Big Jam dream alive.
Yep. If you'd like to join the crew and help us keep making some indie film magic, head on over to Patreon and pick a tier that feels right for you. Even the smallest amount of help, even just support, signing up goes a long way. Other than that, make sure you're subscribed to the show, follow us on social media, keep an eye out for all the behind-the-scenes peeks that are going to be coming your way, and everything that's coming next from Big Damn Films.
Most importantly, thank you for listening, and as always, keep telling your big damn stories, and join the $25 tier and get a free fucking mug.